Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you and welcome.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
It's wonderful to be with you. Today, we're going to be living the wisdom of the Qur'an by sitting for a moment with a gentle reflection on some verses from Sūrah Fāṭir. This is a contemplation that was compiled and shared by a fellow seeker, Mir Ali Shah, and it's truly a privilege to explore it together.
So, where do we start? Well, this reflection begins where the Qur'an so often guides us, by turning our gaze outward. We're going to start by looking at the signs in the cosmos, the tangible, physical world all around us.
The verse starts with this really simple but profound observation about contrast. It asks us to just consider two bodies of water, which are completely different in their nature. One, it says, is sweet, satisfying, and just pleasant to drink. And the other? Well, that one's salty and bitter.
So, on the surface, right? The meaning seems pretty straightforward. We've got fresh rivers and springs that quench our thirst, and then there are the vast, salty oceans. They couldn't be more different. And yet the verse immediately goes on to reveal a much deeper unity in their purpose.
And here's this beautiful paradox, isn't it? From both of these waters, the sweet and the salty, we are given sustenance. We get tender meat, we get fish, and from the depths of that seemingly harsh, bitter sea, we pull out pearls and jewels to wear. It's such a powerful sign that divine bounty comes from all kinds of sources, inviting us to be grateful for both the easy and the difficult.
Okay, so, as is so often the way with the Qur'an, this outer sign, it's really pointing to an inner reality. Let's turn our gaze from the cosmos and look now at the landscape of the human heart.
So, the natural question becomes, if these two seas exist out there in the world, could it be that they also exist within us? The Sufi masters have always invited us to ask this very question. What could these waters possibly symbolize in the terrain of our own souls?
And of course, the great mystic Rumi has this incredible reflection on this very idea. For him, these two seas were like two kinds of hearts. The sweet river was like the heart of a saint, soft and flowing with remembrance. The bitter sea was like the heart of the heedless, made salty by forgetfulness. And yet, he reminds us, from the bitter sea comes a pearl. What a thought. Even from hardship, even from a state of distance, something of immense value, of pure wisdom, can be born.
After showing us the sign in nature, the surah then pivots, and it speaks directly to us. It says, O people, you are al-fuqara. You are the ones in need, the poor, in relation to God.
But what does that really mean, to be one of the fuqara? It's not just about being poor in a material sense. So what does it mean to be spiritually poor, to live in a state of neediness before the divine?
Well, on the spiritual path, this brings us to this incredible concept of faqr. See, faqr isn't about what you lack in your hands, it's about the posture of your heart. It's that deep, gut-level recognition that we are utterly dependent on God for everything, every single breath, every insight, every bit of strength. This poverty is actually the gateway to true richness, because when you empty yourself, you create the space for your heart to be filled by the divine.
And once you start to recognize this state of need, the path forward becomes, intensely personal. The verses then lay out one of the most uncompromising truths of the spiritual journey.
The Qur'an is just absolutely clear on this point. It says that no soul can carry the weight of another's choices, their actions, or their inner state. Not even your closest relative, no one can lift even a fraction of that load from you.
It's a really sobering reality, isn't it? One soul, one burden. Our journey is ours, our accountability is ours, and ours alone. But the idea here isn't to make us feel isolated. It's actually meant to empower us, to encourage us to take full ownership of our spiritual lives.
And there's this beautiful saying from the sage Ibn Ataylah that connects so perfectly here. He says our actions are just the outer shells. The true weight, the burden that we actually carry, is the kernel inside, our intention, our sincerity, the state of the heart that the action grew out of.
And all of this leads to a really powerful conclusion right in the verse itself. Any act of purification, what we call tazkiyah, it's done for the benefit of your own soul. You can't borrow the light from someone else's lamp to light your own way. This work, it's yours to do. Because in the end, each and every one of us makes that final return to God, alone.
So, with all that in mind, let's just close by sitting with these meanings for a moment. Let's let them settle, not just in our minds, but in our hearts, with a short prayer, a munajat, that's inspired by these very verses.
O Allah, from sweet streams and salty seas you feed me. Make me grateful for gifts that come through contrast.
Let me know my poverty so that your richness may fill me.
Teach me to carry my own load and to purify my soul for its own meeting with you. Ameen.
And so we're left with a question to carry with us. In the difficult, salty waters of your own life, your own heart, what pearl might be forming right now, just waiting to be discovered?